presents Discomfort Zone. Here's your host, Jessica Holmes.
Thanks, guys. Hello, Winnipeg, and welcome to the Discomfort Zone. Zone. Guys, this is a celebration of anxiety, awkwardness, and embarrassment. Also, neuroses, worry, and struggle to fit in. Free-floating panic, disconnection, flawed coping mechanisms. It's gonna be a blast. Well, and CBC asked themselves, who makes us uncomfortable? And here I am. Woohoo! I am proud to host the Discomfort Zone, telling the world I'm here, I'm full of fear, and that's okay. I'm living my best, worst life. Go me! I kind of think one of the things I do that make people feel awkward is I'm always breaking into Celine Dion, but I cannot help myself because I am the greatest miracle in the world. So you're welcome for being here, Winnipeg. And I want to tell you, you are an incredible, incredible people. I mean, sure, you are not Celine, you are you, but still, I like to watch you try to strive to my incredibleness. And I want to tell you, I was not just born the greatest singer in the world, no. One night I knelt down at the side of the bed and I prayed to God to give me the kind of voice that make other people feel very insignificant. And in that moment, an angel flew in through the window and farted into my lungs. And my incredible gift was born. And because the festival is 18 years old, I am going to bless it with the miracle that is my voice. I'm going to sing a duet with myself. Happy birthday to you. On your birthday you wear hand. May you always be as wonderful as Celine is thin. You're welcome, Ness. Thank you. I want to be happy. I read a ton of self-help books, but I never make it past the first chapter. So I feel like if they just made one big book with only the first chapters of all the other books, that is a book I could read. That I could do. I wrote a book myself. It's called Depression, the Comedy. So this is a book I wrote about trying to get my mental health back on track. And for example, one of the things was my husband and I both work from home, which is too much of a good thing. So much of a good thing when he's home all day. And we started kind of getting passive aggressive. You know, I'd be like, hey, it seems like you replaced the milk bag, but then you didn't cut the top corner off. Some people say that's like opening a door a quarter of the way for someone. I'm just saying, buddy. And your clothes stay in the dryer long after they're dry. It's a dryer, not a dresser, buddy. I'm just saying. So we tried to make our home office like a real office. You know, we pass a card around the office for birthdays. I'd hide solitaire every time he walked by. And at our home office, casual Fridays include sex. I don't know if that's all offices anyway. Other days, I don't want him to go to waste, though, so I farm him out through Husband. It's a new service. You get the app. Anyways, I know you guys are looking at me and you're thinking, oh, she seems like an introvert. And I actually am when I'm not on stage making a dork of myself. And I find it hard with kids because I feel pressure to make small talk with all the other parents dropping them off for a play date. And I don't have the energy for all that yuppie chit-chat over Chardonnay. I don't want to ogle your new 3-pack of jacuzzis from Costco. I can barely remember my passwords. I don't want to gab with folks whose biggest problem is expensive poodle mixes. Which one to buy? I don't know, Carol. I've had 3 glasses of wine this morning and I haven't read a newspaper in 12 years, but I heard labradoodles are okay. That's pretty much it. The only play dates I want to go to are with parents who just cut straight to the chase. myself, like this one neighbor I got. The girl child I created was kicking ball to the girl child you created. Laughter exited their mouth holes. Your daughter was a bit slow, but it's okay. She can come over again. I recommend they participate in recreational activities tomorrow at the same time. Do you want to come in for tea? Do you know what? I don't want you in my house. Take the tea bag, take the boiling water, drink it alone in your own home. Goodbye. That I love. Thank you. But I have read that the key to feeling good is self-acceptance. But it sounds like so much work. I just want things to be easier, like mindfulness. I tried meditating. I even took a class in it, but they were all like, stop texting. Why? We're just sitting here. That's the perfect time. I always felt, though, like walking my dog is my time to meditate. It's bliss. And having a dog is really good for your mental health. Personally, I have a purse dog. She's so sweet. Sometimes it's hard to get her in the purse because she's part husky. For a lot of people, their dogs are their baby. But my dog is not like my kids. My kids don't lick their lips when I fart, for example. My kids don't smell like canned ham had a baby with expired salmon. It's different. It's different is what I'm saying. All right, now that you're all good and uncomfortable, it's time to get on with the show. This comic says he isn't just socially awkward, he's also privately awkward. Please welcome Adam Christie.
Hello, my name is Adam Christie. How are you? Good? Nice. Let's get these up. Establish dominance early. Alpha male, betas. Oh, what's that? Sharp. I'm a sharp man. Look at that, huh? Usually the bicep's supposed to be bigger than the forearm. Not on me. God hates me. I'm a little praying mantis boy. Is what I am. Very skinny man. Get back up. I feel like regular guy can't show off my arms. Like regular guys show off their arms and people are like, oh yeah, 2 tickets to the gun show, right? I feel like I show off my arms and people are like, oh yeah, there's 2 lanyards to the podcast festival. I am divorced. Just keeps on getting better, baby. Come on, I'm a divorced man. I don't look divorced, too. Men are divorced. Like, you hear divorce, you think, like, I'm a man, I'm divorced, she took it all. Where's my kids? She took the Elantra, right? I don't give off a manly vibe. I give off more of a vibe of Mormon camp counselor. That's what I give off. I don't know, I'm pretty tough. I'm a pretty tough guy. I played sports in high school. I could have gone pro. Except the sport I was good at in high school doesn't exist, so that's my problem. It's called Crocker. It's a combination of soccer and crying. Not a jock in high school. I had a lot of cruel nicknames growing up. In grade 2, my name is Adam Christie, and in grade 2, I crapped my pants on a field trip to a swamp. So kids called me Adam Krusty. And I should have gone and cleaned myself up, but instead I just yelled out, I just crapped my pants in front of everybody. And then the next day at school, we had to draw what we learned at the swamp. And I drew a tree and a frog and the swamp, and the rest of the guys in my class drew me crapping my pants. A few days after that, we were doing test prep for an ecosystems test, and the teacher was going around and he was like, okay, kids, where does a swamp come from? And then Dean Bennett, the cool kid, put up his hand, and he was like, Adam Christie's butt. And then the teacher laughed. And it was that day that I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to have general anxiety disorder for the rest of my life. And here we are. I collect crystals now. Anyone collect crystals here? I'm your aunt. I'm your spiritual aunt. I'm a divorced man with crystals. That's my life now. Usually people get divorced, men get divorced, they go work out, they get rock hard abs. Just rocks for me, please. Just rocks. I'm gonna see my ex-wife in 1 month at a mutual friend's wedding. We haven't seen each other for 2 years. And she's gonna be like, Adam, please meet my new boyfriend. And I'm gonna be like, I pray to these rocks now. I don't need you anymore, Jenna. I have rose quartz. I did my taxes recently, and I found out I can write these off because I talk about them in my act, so thank you. Thank you. Hear that, CRA? My accountant said if I do anything, if I write a joke about it, I can write that activity off because it's research for my job, because I'm a comedian. So that's pretty cool. So in that case, I have been sleeping with a lot of prostitutes lately. And you know what I've noticed that prostitutes hate doing is writing receipts. I have a new girlfriend. She's very nice. Thank you so much. One person. She's very nice. I love her a lot. Her name is Rose. Quartz. I'm crazy. No, I have a girl, she's very nice. I feel like I have anxiety because of what we watch. We watch a lot of true crime. I watch so much true crime that I've made a suspect list in the event of my murder. I've made a list of all the people who I think will kill me. So if I'm ever killed, I've hid this list all around my house so the cops will find one of them and they'll know where to start in my murder case. And my girlfriend found one of the lists recently, and she's mad at me now because she's the only one on the list. I am very good looking. I don't like that. I got my beautiful blue eyes and defined face structure from my father because he's Russian, and that's nice. And I got my skinniness and pointy ears from fetal alcohol syndrome. My mom doesn't like that joke. But I didn't like shooters in the womb, Brenda. That's not true. My mom, I love my parents. They're the best. They're very supportive. I love them a lot. Not in a weird way. You guys see these people who kiss their parents on the lips? What's going on with that? We got any parent lip kissers here in the crowd? I know you perverts are out there somewhere, kissing your parents. I feel like that's a thing you gotta do throughout your entire life. I don't think you can start and stop kissing your parents on the lips. Like, I think the last time I kissed my dad on the lips, I was 4 years old. I don't think I can roll up on my parents' house as a 32-year-old man and be like, Dad. Take your glasses off. Okay, that's it for me. My name's Adam Christie. Thank you guys so much, Winnipeg. Thank you so much for having me. Good night.
All right, if this comic makes you uncomfortable, don't worry. It's purely intentional. Please welcome Chelsea Lou.
Winnipeg. Oh, it's so nice to be here. I have not been to your city before. You're downtown. It's interesting. Catcalling, still a thing. Had no idea that catcalling was still a thing. I think, like, the only drive-by heckling that I ever get from these dudes is always stuff like, it's always like, you look very sad. No, I get told that a lot. I have like a very off-putting like demeanor. Like I just rub people the wrong way. I don't say the wrong thing all the time. I don't know. Let's put it this way. I have had 2 stalkers who independently came to the same conclusion that they made a bad choice. So it's kind of sad. I'm mentally ill. Did I mention that yet? Mentally ill. I have one of those doctors. She likes to like treat everything naturally and stuff. She's like a pretend doctor. For example, for my clinical depression, this is absolutely true. She gave me a prescription for turmeric. Oh, you're right. That is a seasoning. Yes. Then she handed me a poem, so that's really chipping away at the issue at hand. She recommended flotation therapy as a nice option. Do you guys know what a float tank is? Like an isolation tank, you have those here. If you're not familiar, a float tank is this like pod full of this really salty water, so you can float on it really easily. Then you bring this lid down so that you can't see or hear anything. It's like a sensory deprivation thing. And the idea is that you're made to feel nothing, which I'm already like really good at. So I was like, bring it on. So I tried it because I felt like baking a panic attack from scratch. I don't know why I thought this would go well. I don't know why this doctor was like, you know what's gonna help this chick's anxiety? Trapping herself into a moist coffin. Just spend $75 to be alone with her thoughts. She's a weird doctor. She asked me a lot of weird questions. The last time I was there, this doctor asked me if my vagina was pH balanced. I didn't know I was supposed to know the acidity or basic nature of my snooch at this juncture. I'm not going swimming in it. I didn't think to check. Like, you know, like it's like I'm not planting potatoes in it. I didn't know I was supposed to pH somewhere between bleach and lemonade, I imagine. But, you know, your guess is as good as mine, toots. Roll up those sleeves. Let's do it. So I'm a teacher. I teach young children. What? It's fine. It's fine. I love teaching. I also didn't have a choice. I had to become a teacher because I have an art degree. Because I don't value money and I hate myself, so I had to become a teacher. I don't know. Let's try this. We're gonna keep it loose. Let's keep it light, huh? Here's what we're gonna do. Let's try this. Like, what's your name, for example? Mary. Mary, and like, listen. You might be able to relate to this. If you can't, someone else here for sure gonna be able to relate to this. Mary, do you ever become so fixated on the futility of everything that it just completely immobilizes you? And then you just stare blankly into space, listening to weird German music, hoping the feeling will pass, and it just never does? So then you get up the next day, you go to your job at the middle school, you look around at all these kids, and they're still so filled with like positivity and hope for the future, but you don't have the heart to tell them their generation is infinitely more screwed than your own. So instead, you silently take on the pain of their eventual lack of prospects. You compound that on top of your own fears about the fact that you have no idea what the hell you're doing with your life and what even happened to it. Then you start looking at cars passing by, right, Mary? And you're like, hey, how much would it hurt really if you let one of them hit you just hard enough so you could take a couple of months off? And instead, you paste a smile on your face. You look around at the classroom. You're like, hey, it's almost Easter. Maybe I should take down all these Halloween decorations. I've already given up on this job. So you start taking down all the Halloween. So, you can't call them Halloween skeletons, though, right? Because Justin's parents are Christians. So you call them holiday skeletons. And you have the kids make holiday pumpkins out of clay. Then one of the kids asks you how you mix orange paint, which is super cute for a second. Then he asks you how you spell love. Oh, God, dark. And then you're like, wait a second, isn't this that kid with the alcoholic parents whose dad wears gardening gloves on his feet like shoes? And you're like, oh my God, this is perfect. I never get to have kids, Mary. And these people spit out 3 of them, and they are just one family of millions who are just like them all over the world. But at least you got your jokes, huh, Mary? You got your fun little jokes you've been bringing around town, huh? See how they go? Not great. Not great. Oh. And then you're like, oh my God, this is perfect. Is the one thing in my life that makes me feel meaning and purpose, is that slipping through my fingers as well? Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? That is rich. Then your friends are like, you know what, for the next show, why don't you just throw away the script? Speak from the heart. Try riffing with the audience because it's good practice. Then you say, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm in a really bad place right now. Has that ever happened to you, Mary? You guys have been wonderful. My name's Chelsea Lou. Have a good night.
This comic is no stranger to embarrassing situations, which makes life hard for him, but hilarious for the rest of us. Please welcome Mark James Heath.
Hey, Winnipeg. It's so great to be back here. Okay, so about 15 years ago, 2004, I married the woman of my dreams, you know? Yeah, and it was also the year that I took my first drink because she gets on my damn nerves. So pray for me, please, and thank you. We split up like over the summer. We almost didn't make it to 15 years. We split up last summer around this same time, had a big fight and separated, and like I was couch surfing and living on my own and like selling plasma and trying to like function, right? I was where historians have referred to it as rock bottom. I don't know if you heard of this. Because like at that point, we weren't so much a family as much as we were like a really photogenic trauma factory, you know what I mean? So it felt like the right thing to do. And it's so funny, like, as soon as you, I don't know if this happens to, like, women, but as, like, a guy, as soon as you, like, get out of a relationship, there's always one of your buddies that wants to cheer you up with, like, oh, yeah, man, now you can have sex with whoever you want. And I'm like, bruh, I've been in a committed relationship with the same person since I was 19 years old. I'm not, like, anxious to get out here and, like, start messing around with strangers. That dirty talk is gonna be extremely awkward. It's just gonna be being like, yeah, girl, tell me I matter. Yeah, baby, you like it when I overshare? You love the way I overshare, don't you? You do all types of fun stuff in relationships, like you start sending nude pictures to each other. You could do that after 15 years of marriage. Nobody wants to see my naked 34-year-old body. I'm like 100 pounds and a microphone. Nobody is interested in that. Coming through their DMs. Naked, I look like a black Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, wearing church socks. I remember growing up, I knew a lot of people who, like, their parents didn't even get along, or their parents barely knew each other, let alone, like, took care of the kids. Like, everybody in my family tells me that I look a lot like my grandfather, like my mother's father, right? Which is tough for me because I've only seen this dude, like, 4 times in my whole life, like, including his funeral, you know what I mean? It's because he, like, went around the United States setting up, like, franchise families, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you can track the great migration of African Americans across the United States by where my grandfather was ejaculating, basically. It was just like, Mississippi, skeet. Tennessee, skeet. Chicago, Illinois, skeet. Southern California, skeet. So I was very, very, like, sex was very high stakes for me. It was a very serious sort of a thing. I was very, very, like, serious about it. And I knew a lot of, like, girls that were my age that were pregnant. Like, most of the girls I was interested in when I was in high school were teenage moms. So it was a very, like, different sort of thing. I remember I used to flirt with this girl in, like, honors sociology, right? And one time she was absent for, like, 2 weeks, right? We're in the 10th grade. She comes back and I'm like, dang, like, where you been, Tiffany? What's been going on? She's like, oh, my son was in the hospital. Like, what? We can't date. You have a 10-month-old. I have an X-Men t-shirt on right now. We are not evenly yoked at all. This is totally different. Sexuality is completely different when you grow up, like, in a neighborhood like that. That's why, like, sex, very high stakes for me when I was a kid. I was celibate when I was in high school. It was very important to me to not mess up somebody's life. You know what I mean? Like it was a serious thing. I remember I used to talk to my penis like a single mother talks to their like child. I was just like, you are not gonna be a stumbling block to this community. You are a blessed and highly favored member. You are gonna stay in here with me. Don't you give me that puppy dog eye. I beat you because I love you. I'm Mark James Heath. Thank you.
Hey guys, just trying to keep the show awkward. Just trying to really, let's go for it. So, here's another awkward thing about me. I always felt ripped off as an Irish girl. You know, because all the good superheroes are from the UK or they're from the United States, and Northern Ireland's Shamrock Man never caught on. Quick, there's danger. Out of me green slacks and into me green onesie. Oh, but look, it's so bright out and I have no SPF or tilly hat. Quick, I'll duck into this pub where I can gingerly sneak attack the assailant by poking him in his freckly Adam's apples and throwing tater tots his way. But first, a pint, a smoke, and a call to Miriam to let her know I won't be home and she'll have to put Seamus, Sinead, Patrick, Liam, Bronick, Bronwyn, Bryce, Fanula, and the wee baby twins to bed on her own. Thank you. Thanks, guys. I just want my ancestors to be known for more than their stews. That's what's And you know what? If I'm gonna be a pasty superhero, I need to work out. And that's what I've been doing. Did you guys ever put on your gym clothes and then just sit and watch TV in them? I thought about getting a Fitbit. You know, the bracelet kind where you get points for every time you do this. But my husband was like, oh, stop giving me handies. Anyway, it was a whole... I'm trying to eat breakfast, honey, come on. I was overzealous, I guess. I don't know. It's very hard to get motivated, though. And you know what? I feel like you have to force yourself to really say yes to getting fit. Music helps. It's working, guys. Yes, I can do it. I can go to the gym today. I have made up my mind. I feel certain that nothing will stand in my way. Yes, I can make it. I can really, really go to the gym today. I know I said it before, but I have a feeling that today I will actually go. Maybe. Yes to mouth breathers. Yes to hot guys who live in mama's basement. Yes to communal showers where you make an effort not to look at anybody's junk. I can't hashtag fit life for 3 push-ups and a thigh master squeeze. So yes, if I want to brag online, it's time for the gym. A key change would help. Thanks. Yes, I can do it. Use the membership I bought in 2008. My home gym is just a yoga mat I use as a seat cover on my Toyota Tercel. Another key change? Yes, I can make it. I can really, really go to the gym today, probably. So what if spin class feels like a crowbar to the nether regions? Yes to finally training for that 1K. Yes to breaking wind with each trot on the treadmill. Yes to the free feeling of peeing in the shower. I don't do that unless you do it. I don't. Do you? Yes, go to the gym tomorrow. Probably, or the next day. It's just, yeah. This comic knows a thing or two about being awkward. Well, that makes 3 of us. Please welcome Sasheer Zamata.
Hi there. I'm so glad to be here. It's a very supportive environment. Feels like a safe space. So I feel really confident that I can talk to you about this STI scare I had a few years ago. Thank you. Sexually transmitted infection. We used to call them STDs. The D was for disease. And now it's an infection, so it's not so dramatic, you know? It's not a disease. It's like just an infection that could bother you for the rest of your life. It happened the normal way. I had unprotected sex with a guy I didn't really know. And I was traveling at the time, so I didn't have access to my usual doctor. So I went to the women's clinic in town, and I was sitting in the lobby surrounded by all these stressed out teenagers. And they're looking at me like, well, I'm here because I'm a teenager and I don't know better, but that's a full-ass adult. Don't people her age have their shit together by now? And then I pop up like the ghost of Christmas future, like, no, you could make life-ruining decisions whatever age you are. And so all the teens get seen. I'm the last person in the lobby. Everyone in the staff is like closing up shop. They're locking the cabinets like, what do you need? And I'm like, someone to look at my pussy. Please, it hurts. And they're like, if we must. They bring me to the back. I open up for the doctor. And she looks at me and just looks like an explorer from afar. And she's like, looks fine from here. And she would say that because she's never seen my parts before. So I started pointing and I was like, well, this is different and this is different. And she goes, okay, do you want me to swab you down and test for white blood cells? And if I had a lot of white blood cells, that meant that I probably had an infection. I was like, yes, please. She gets a swab, swabs me down like a science experiment, goes to the next room for a long time. And I'm just sitting there with my thoughts like, oh my God, I hope this is not permanent. She comes back and she goes, okay, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you don't have an STI. The bad news is you have a crazy bad yeast infection. Now, I've never been to medical school before, but I don't think the term crazy bad is appropriate jargon. That was terrible bedside manner. But I let it slide. I was like, she said, I don't have an STI? Great, I'll just take the medicine and be on my way. And she goes, no, you don't understand. It was so bad. And I was like, I heard you the first time. Just give me the medicine and I'll be on my way. And she gives me this cream that I have to put in a syringe, and every night I have to lie on the bathroom floor with my back on the floor and my legs in the air and insert it. And every time I do it, I'm like, man, this is a harsh reminder that if I was never in this position in the first place, I wouldn't be in this position right now. But it's all cleared up, so I'm good to go, fellas. I've been wondering this lately. What do you think has to happen in a person's life to make them want to buy eyelashes for their car? Like, who hurt you? Did a car hurt you? Who is it for? Like, are we all supposed to look in our rear view mirrors and be like, am I in the movie Cars? And is this car flirting with me? I wear fake eyelashes when I want to feel sexy. Are the owners of these cars trying to make their cars sexy? And again, for who? Are all the cars with eyelashes being mounted by all the trucks with truck nuts? Also, truck nuts. Why? What was that for? Is that like a reflection of our society where it's like, if my car's gonna be a girl, she's gonna have pretty eyelashes and makeup. And if my car's gonna be a boy, he's gonna have nuts. I don't even think nuts are the most appropriate body part to display strength and masculinity. If you want to show the world through your car that you have strength and virility, you should want to show people that you're adaptable and that you have endurance and that you're open and warm and multi-layered, like a vagina. Don't get truck nuts, get a snatchback. All right, thank you very much.
Like me, this comic is a natural introvert, and I take great comfort in knowing we'll never, ever have a conversation about it. Please welcome Pete Johansson.
Thank you, thanks. Oh, all right. Hi, so nice to be here. Winnipeg, I love it. I'm married like many of the other acts on the show. My wife loves me a lot. I like her. I've been married for 11 years. It's been quite wonderful. Me and my wife are quite sexually adventurous, I guess is the word. I don't know. I don't know what you call it. Swingers, that's the word. We're swingers for a number of years. We don't swing anymore. Wasn't our choice. Yeah, can't find a participant. No, we're getting old. We miss the old adventure days, though. Me and my wife, we still fantasize about it. We still masturbate and think about how we used to be. You know? You ever do that with your partner? Remember? Oh, remember that? Oh, yeah. Oh, and you lean back. You know. It was good. That was a fun time. Our anniversary last year, I was like, we could do something crazy, and we're like, oh, we don't really want to lose weight. And so she was like, why don't you just get me a new, let's get a new sex toy. I was like, yes, yeah, that sounds fun. We haven't had a new sex toy in a while. We're kind of falling into the pattern. Let's get something new. And I was like, what do you want? She goes, let's push the boundaries. I'm like, oh, yeah, ooh, let's do it. What would you like? She goes, I'd like a big sex toy. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah, someone take me back to my college days. Done, yeah, okay. I don't want to know any more details right away, but sure. I was like, you want a big one? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, how long? You tell me how long a toy you want. And she was shy at first. She's like, I don't know, 10 inches? I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll get you a 10-inch toy. Done. And I was like, what do you want for circumference on that baby, huh? And she's like, 2 inches? And I was like, no, I don't think that's right. I don't think so. Maybe diameter will be easy. What do you want for a diameter on that? And she's like, 12 inches? I'm like, nope, you don't want that at all. That's not what you want at all. And that's when it realized my wife couldn't calculate the volume of a cylinder. And I've never been more ashamed of her in my entire life. It's like, are you kidding me? You can't calculate the volume of a cylinder? What? You don't know geometry, basic algebra? What are you doing? And she goes, when am I ever gonna use that? I'm like, now, right now. Explaining to your husband the size of a sex toy. That's what they should tell kids when they're teaching it. Someday you're gonna wanna be specific about a toy, kids, and this is what you need to know. And she's like, don't math shame me. I'm not math shaming you, but you should know these basic geometric functions. She goes, I don't know. I'm like, well, I think it's wrong. She goes, fine, I want one that big. That's how big I want it. Now, the problem with that big is I couldn't walk over to the computer and go to Amazon and go, that big. So I had to actually go into a physical sex shop, if you will. I went into the local mom and pop sex shop. You know, shop local, keep the business in business, you know? And I'll be honest with you, talk about a section of the industry that has not done well in the transformation to the digital age. Most people do their shopping for these products online now, and they're suffering. I walked in there, and they could barely keep the lights on. That's how dark it was. And I'm like, this isn't good. And I asked the clerk, I go, it seems pretty dead in here. And they're like, yeah, we're not getting a lot of business lately. I go, why is that? Well, people, you know, they buy most stuff online. I go, what kind of business do you? Well, people that want to check out our products and see something before they buy. That's a little bit. And I go, what's the other point? Well, people that need a toy now. Like, that's a lot of the business. Can't wait 24 hours for a delivery. They come in and they're gone. Like, that's an emergency. I was like, how often is that? Like about 1 an hour. And I was in there for an hour, and there's like 3 emergencies. Like, just gone. Like, just. It's economic principle. But I can't judge. I'm in there, you know, shaking the hands of penises the entire time I'm in there trying to find the right size. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, hello. And I found it. I found the one that she was looking for. There it was. Just right length. Other part. Now, the problem with this is I try to be a good person. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to be on the right side of history. I don't want to look back and be ashamed of the choices I made at some point in my life and not realize I should have seen ahead that was wrong at the time. And this particular toy had a very strong ethnic flavor to it. It was stressing a very specific race in its design, and I don't know if that's right. That doesn't feel right. I got to be honest with you. My core part of me going, I shouldn't be buying a part of another race. That doesn't seem like a good thing to me at all. Like, it shouldn't be, oh, yeah, give me that. Like, that doesn't seem right to me. But at the same point, I couldn't pick it up and go, hey, you got these in white? I couldn't do that either. Folks, you guys have been great. My name is Pete Johansson. Thank you very much.
Guys, that's our show. We could not have asked for a better audience, but that's only because we have very low self-esteem. Awkward to the end. That's me. Thank you, Winnipeg. Good.